What is going on, YouTube? So, is this clickbait, or am I actually going to say what Joe Rogan was right about? It's not clickbait. Kind of is, kind of isn't. But I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about, and it has to do with what you see Joe doing in that video, the cold plunge. I've been cold plunging for a couple years now, and I love the mental discipline aspect. And it's true, you never get used to 39-degree water, or if in Joe's case, I think he gets his down to 34 degrees or so, which is beyond the limitations of mine. And also, to be honest with you, 39 is plenty cold enough. But is Joe telling the truth? Is he right about specifically what I'd like to talk about is dunking your head when you first get in the cold plunge. So when I first got in the cold plunge, probably a year and a half ago, the date escapes me, I've been doing it a long time, I would get in to about right here. And that's what I thought was best. Just get your traps all the way underneath. So that's what I did in the beginning. And eventually, towards the end of my cold plunge, a few months later, I would dunk my head. And it made me significantly more awake. Well, on a recent podcast, I heard Joe Rogan say, you gotta dunk your head. You gotta dunk your head right when you get in. Just do it. Just do it. So it hit me. Even though I had the mental discipline to cold plunge, I didn't dunk my head right away. I did it at the end. That way I dunked my head, I got significantly colder, and I got right out. Now, what was I doing wrong? Nothing really, but I can tell you now. Several days, I've been getting in, and within the first 15 or 20 seconds, I'm dunking my head in the cold water. Then the remainder of the 3 to 5 minutes, I'm staying in with a sopping wet melon, and it's different. It's very different. I mean, you're significantly colder. I don't know the science of it. I assume Joe does, or Andrew Huberman does. That may have been who he was talking to about it. But Joe Rogan says, don't be a little B word. Just dunk your head, deal with it, get in. He's right. He's right. I mean, I'm significantly more awake afterwards. I'm significantly colder for longer. Staying in is much harder than it already was. And let's face it, the point in cold plunging is to do hard things. The point is for it to be difficult. So get right in, get your head wet. I'm going to try in the coming days to do it in the first 5 or 6 seconds. See, what I like to do is get in, shrivel down in the back of the cold plunge, get my mind right, and then shrink down. Jump my head. That's what I've been doing. But it's taken at least 15, as long as 30 seconds to get my mindset right to just do it. Just immerse my head. But he's right. I mean, Joe was adamant about telling his podcast guest, I want to say it was Andrew Huberman, I could be wrong. When I say a recent podcast, it was in the last 4 to 6 weeks. You know, I don't know about you guys, but when I listen to a podcast, it just stews around in my brain. It just stews. And then eventually I'll say, okay, that nugget, I'm going to take that nugget and I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to utilize it. I'm going to see if it's, really as valuable as it seems like it would be. So in this case, is Joe right? Dunking your head is just that much different. It is. It's that much different. I mean, it's a profound difference. At least for me it was. Your mileage may vary. I don't think it will. So the next thing I'm going to do, keep dunking my head. I'm going to try to get a little colder. I'm kind of going to work with my inner B word, try to get that mental discipline a little sharper, just get a little colder, just a little colder. 39 years old, nothing gets easier, but I'm telling you, at 39, doing all the protocols that I do, cold water, red light, cardio every day, I don't feel that much different than 25. My joints hurt a little bit more maybe, but I don't feel that much different. So is Joe right? I think he is. I think dunk your head right when you get in the cold plunge. For me, like I said, I've been doing it in the first 15 to 30 seconds. It's made a colossal difference. Next, I'm going to do it in the first 5 or so seconds. Joe is right.